What is up, guys? MMA Mafia coming at you with another video. Today we're going to be going over the UFC dark horse in each division, which pretty much means the fighter that's underrated, that's likely to reach the title fight or rise up the rankings this year. So if you like the video, leave a like, subscribe, share the video, but we're going to get straight into it. The first person on this list we have is Steve Erceg. Steve from Blues Clues from the flyweight division. Now, a lot of people are counting him out after the loss to Kai France. You know, he got knocked out pretty bad, but he can still come back from this fight. You know, the flyweight division is pretty shallow. It's not a deep division. You know, he's still in the rankings. He's still there. He has a fight coming up in March. So he can probably get 2 or 3 fights in this year and get back to the top 5 of the rankings. He was never in the top 5 of the rankings, but, you know, he got the title fight. So I think he can get to the top 5 and get another title fight. But he had the closest fight with Pantoja. You know, a lot of people thought he won that fight, me included. You know, it was a really close fight. So a lot of people are still underrating him, you know, because of the loss against Kai France. But I think he can come back and challenge for the title again. And I think he has a good shot against Pantoja. A lot of people are just getting beat by Pantoja. They already lost 2-3 times against Pantoja. So it's not like we're going to see them rushed into a title fight as well. So he can easily get another shot. A lot of people will probably call for that fight if he gets 1 or 2 good wins together. A lot of people will call for that fight because it was a close fight. So I'm excited to see what he does in this division. Hopefully he stays active this year. So we're going to get straight into the next person. For the bantamweight division, we have Song Yadong. He has a fight coming up in February against Henry Cejudo. You know, a lot of people aren't really talking about him in this bantamweight division. You know, his last fight against Jan, he showed a hole in his game with the grappling, but I'm looking on him to improve that. You know, he's still a young guy. You know, I forgot how old he is, but I know he's not even 30 yet. He's really young in this division. You know, he had a close fight with Corey Sandhagen, you know, and it got stopped to a cut, but it was a really close fight against Corey Sandhagen. You know, it was a decent fight against Jan, other than the grappling portions. But he has a fight coming up against Cejudo. You know, Cejudo's probably pretty washed at this point, you know. I think he's going to beat Cejudo pretty easily. I'm going to go by TKO in the second round. But I think Yadong has looked past a lot in this division. He's a young guy. He's going to stay around for a while, most likely. So, and I think if he gets to a shot against either Merab or Umar, and he's improving his takedown defense. He had decent takedown defense before. He was just getting taken down, held down for a while against Jan, which is not a great look. But again, he's young. He can improve on that, you know. And in the Corey Sandhagen fight, he was getting taken down a little bit. But again, he can improve, and I think he will. I think he'd have a good shot against Merab or Umar Nurmagomedov. I think Umar's going to win that fight. So we'll see what the future holds for him. Now, next person I have on this list, I have him for the 145 and 55 division. It is Gene Silva. Now, I just really couldn't find anyone who's coming up right now who I would consider a dark horse and underrated in the 155 division. But Gene Silva, I think mainly because he's going to be fast-tracked this year, because he's in the Fighting Nerds, obviously, but also because he has 2 great wins against Drew Dober and Jourdain. So I think he's going to be fast-tracked in the featherweight division. You know, he's probably going to get a ranked opponent after he beats Bogdasarian. So I just think a lot of people will be caught by surprise by the fact that he's going to be rushed up the rankings in 145. I think he's going to get top 15 opponent. He'll probably beat them by like July, August, and then he'll fight at the end of the year against a top 10 opponent, most likely. That's what I think is going to happen. Or a top 7 maybe. But Gene Silva, I think a lot of people are in the 145 division are talking about Diego Lopez right now, you know, and not really talking about Gene Silva. There's not a lot of guys in the 145 division that are like that we think has a chance against Ilia Topuria as well. I think Gene Silva's style fares pretty well against Ilia Topuria, even though I think he probably wouldn't win. Maybe not now, but if he builds himself up a little bit more and we see a little bit more out of him, maybe he can have a better chance. He's got to grow into the UFC a little bit. But I think Gene Silva, coming up the rankings right now, he's going to be fast-tracked. He's going to be the dark horse for the 155 and 145 division. Just because he fought in the 155 division as well, though. Next fighter, we have Carlos Prates. Again, this is going to be the same situation as Gene Silva. I think he's just going to be fast-tracked into the top 5 this year. He's ranked, unlike Gene Silva. So I think he could actually probably reach a title fight this year. I think they're going to rush him in there against someone soon. Someone in the top 10, top 5, somewhere around there. I think he's probably going to get a title fight this year. I'm going to call that now. I think Carlos Prates is going to get a title fight this year. And I just say he's the dark horse of the division just because a lot of people are focused on Shavkat. We have JDM coming up fighting Leon Edwards soon. A lot of people are high on Blob right now. They think Blob has a good chance against Shavkat. I do think it's a close fight against with Shavkat and Blob, but I'm going to pick Shavkat in that fight. But a lot of people are high on Blob, and they're picking him to beat Shavkat. And there's not really a lot of people talking about Carlos Prates reaching the title fight this year or rising up into the top 5. But I think it's going to catch people by surprise again, just like Gene Silva. The fighting nerds are really popular right now, and I think the UFC is going to make the money move and push them up the division. So we'll see what happens with Prates. I think he fares a good shot against a lot of people in the top 10, so we'll just have to see. The next fighter we have for the middleweight division is Anthony Hernandez. Now, I think Anthony Hernandez is pretty underrated in this division. He's coming off 2 great wins against Michel Pereira and Roman Kopylov. Great wins, finished them both. He has great finishing potential. He's fighting Brendan Allen in February. I think he's going to win that fight. A lot of people in this division are talking about Khamzat coming up. The Izzy fanboys talking about how he can get a title fight after beating Amavov. I don't think Izzy should get another title fight. I think if they both win, Anthony Hernandez and Izzy, I think they should fight each other. For another number 1 contender fight. Izzy needs to get 2 fights, 2 decent wins before heading back into a title fight. I'm sick of him getting just title shots off of 1 win, no wins. So we need to get this matchup made if they both win. That'd be a great fight. I'd love to see it. But again, Anthony Hernandez has great finishing potential, coming off great wins. I think a lot of people aren't really talking about him in this division. He has great grappling. There's not a lot of great grapplers in the 185 division. But Anthony Hernandez, I think he matches up well with a lot of guys in the top 10, top 5. So I'd like to see him in there. Maybe against Khamzat, it'll be a great fight. He has great cardio. We've seen Khamzat gas out in fights in the past. So I like to see how their grappling exchanges would go. And if Khamzat would gas out and Anthony Hernandez could take over that fight and drown him. So I like to see that fight as well. But Anthony Hernandez, very underrated in the middleweight division. Next fighter is going to be Carlos Olafberg. Now, in the 205 division, I think if Alex Pereira gets past Ankalaev, I think it's pretty much wrapped. I don't think anyone would beat him in this division, but Carlos Olafberg coming up, decent striker. He's fighting Blachowicz. I think he's going to beat Jan. Jan's coming off really bad shoulder injuries. He had surgery. So I think Carlos is going to go in there and beat him. Also, Jan is getting older. I think he's like 41, 42. He's in his 40s. So I think Olberg is going to go in there and beat him. I think he's going to get probably one more fight and then a title fight. But he's fighting Blachowicz in March, so he should be relatively active. I don't think he'll take too much damage in that fight. So I'm looking forward to him fighting 3 times this year. Maybe get into a title fight. I think a fight against Alex Pereira would be really entertaining. Both strikers. So, and he also trains with Israel Adesanya at City Kickboxing. So, it'd be an interesting storyline as well for that. But Carlos Olafberg, I couldn't really find anyone else in this division. But Carlos Olafberg, he's going to be for the 205 division. And the last one for the heavyweight division, Shamil the Blob Gaziev. We all know John Jones is ducking Shamil Gaziev. A lot of people are just ducking him. They don't want to fight Shamil. I wouldn't want to see Shamil on the other side of the octagon either. He's going to eat him up. Eat him up on the ground. Shamil Gaziev. We all know, professional volleyball player. One of the greatest heavyweights in the division right now. Probably the best. Everyone's ducking him. They don't want to see him in there. John Jones is scared. Tom Aspinall is scared. But let's be for real for a second. The heavyweight division is just a bunch of fat blobs outside the top 5. So no one really a dark horse in that division. So I just had to bring up Shamil the Blob Gaziev. Can't wait to see his next fight coming up February 1st. We all got to tune in for that. You already know, must-see TV when Shamil's fighting. But that's pretty much going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe, share the video. I'm going to be making a couple videos this week, so stay tuned for that. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.